week on HobbyStop, we'll be taking a look at the creative art of scrapbooking. Scrapbooking allows you to keep track of pictures, memories, and is currently the #1 craft of choice.
I first got interested in scrapbooking when my father developed my high school pictures, all of my rolls of high school pictures, and those of my graduation, and then he went out and shopped for a ton of scrapbooking supplies so that I could scrapbook my life throughout those 4 years of high school, and that was when the first scrapbook I completed and when I first got interested.
My mom got me interested in scrapbooking. One of her friends started doing it and she kind of passed it on to me.
I think how I got into it was my sister was doing it a lot, and I liked a lot of the stuff she did. At first it took her a while to get into it, but after she really got into it, I really liked a lot of the stuff. And my dad bought me like over $100 worth of starting stuff, so it was like, well, he just showed up while I was at work one day and handed it to me, and at that point I was like, okay, well, if he's going to spend that kind of money, I guess I'll use it.
I've put together a scrapbook of my trip to Italy. I have a baby scrapbook and childhood and pretty much anything from high school. I have all that scrapbooked as well.
I put together my high school one. I stopped for a couple years until my son was born in college, and I scrapbooked his life from there on, as well as the pregnancy that I had before.
The only one that I've started and haven't finished is my senior year of high school. And it starts in a summer institute, which is like a summer camp that I went through and did. And then I have all this stuff to do, like homecomings and football games, and I was in pep band and marching band. I got a whole bunch of stuff for that, and proms and all that good stuff.
The time that it takes to complete a scrapbook really depends on the type of scrapbook that you're creating. For example, my son's, the pregnancy that I had before my son was born, and the scrapbook that I made for that was maybe a 20-page scrapbook documenting month by month what happened throughout the pregnancy and any big milestones. And that one took me, a couple months to create. On average, because of the size, I would guess that it probably took a couple months of free time to create that. I would guess it takes, on average, about an hour to create a 2-page layout.
It takes a lot of effort, lots of time. I can do a couple pages in a day, but I wouldn't do any more than that.
The thing that I like most about scrapbooking is that it's very creative. I consider myself a very creative person, and I like a lot of art and a lot of music, and you can do whatever you want with it, it's very creative.
It's kind of relaxing. It's a relaxing hobby. You can always pick it up and leave it and pick it back up again whenever you feel like you want to do it again. I like the fact that it's creative and you can make what you want.
Scrapbooking can be a pretty costly hobby.
It is very expensive, depending on how much you want to get into it. There's a lot of very cool things that you can use for scrapbooking. And if you want to use like the embossed stuff, it's at least $30 just to get into the embossing kit, let alone all the dyes and everything that you have to use.
Then again, you can also have a very, very inexpensive scrapbook by just going through magazines and different posters and stuff and just cutting out things and laying that out together. It can be also very, very cost efficient, depending on what you decide to do.
My advice for somebody who's getting into scrapbooking is to look at other people's examples. Like, they have a lot of programs and activities and stuff that you can do. Like, a lot of scrapbooking stores will hold scrapbooking classes and stuff. And if you can see other people's ideas, then you can get a good idea of what looks good and what doesn't before you actually put it on paper.
I think you should do it. I think it's a lot of fun. It organizes your pictures in a sense, and it keeps you focused on something other than the television. I think it's a lot of fun. You can really get your creative juices flowing.
For more tips on how to turn your pile of photographs into creative and colorful scrapbooks, check out the following sites.